All right.
Alright. Well, hi everyone. We are here. The Holistic Voice is live streaming, not podcasting, which is
Yeah, I
awesome.
can't edit out all the weird things, so you get all of it.
Yeah, you get all of the unedited, unfiltered versions of us. So, hello. Well, I'm really excited that we're doing this. We're going to try to make a little bit more of a kind of a recurring Friday segment where we can just live stream and connect with our audience a little bit more, which is really exciting. So, Jordan, why don't what's been going on in your neck of the woods over in the middle of the good old U.S. of A.
Yeah, well, I'm basically in Canada almost, actually.
Really?
We're yeah, in Idaho. I'm at the very top, in a city called Priest River. Or a
Okay.
town called Priest River. It's close to Sandpoint, which is just about an hour and a half from Canada. So it's been great. Lots of boating, done some wakeboarding, wake surfing, and lots of writing songs. So
I
it's
saw
been a good time here.
those Insta posts, you in the vest. You're like, oh yeah, I'm like
Oh yeah,
really
with the Weezer
cool.
song.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. No,
Yeah.
that's so awesome. And you guys are having like a reunion party today, right?
Yep. So that's Danielle's side of the family. We're gonna be just boating and doing lots of fun stuff. Kind of what I've been doing all month. It's good.
Awesome. Gosh, love that summer vacation. That's really cool. Um,
Yeah.
well, we are up in DC enjoying the cooler weather this week. We have a couple friends visiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Because
was
that heat wave hit you, right?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
insane. It was like 98, 99 for a couple days, and then it finally cooled
Well.
down. It's going to get hotter again. But we have some friends visiting. Maxine's best friend actually just came in from London, and so we have been having a blast with her, and we are hanging out now with some friends from the master's degree program that she was in Tufts University. So
Mm,
we're going to have a good weekend. It'll be a really fun time. But yeah, well, before we kind of jump into our main topic of today, there's some voice news that I want to get into, some topical related items that I think we should chat about. First of all, being a couple of weeks ago in New York, there was a blackout in in Manhattan, and so everything was dark. And the craziest thing, so Reuters.com posted a story that choirs, Broadway casts came out to celebrate. Yeah, they weren't stopping. Even though that the lights were out, the music was still going. And I wanted to bring it up because you said that you might have known one of the choirs that was performing in July, right?
yeah. So they're called the Millennial Choral Organization, I think is what it's called, MCO.
Okay.
But they were performing in Carnegie Hall. They had gotten a huge group of people out there, and they actually had several performances that day. They had, because they have choirs from about 5 states. It's like Idaho, Texas, Utah, California, and maybe somewhere else. and But they all went to New York, and they had some performances that morning, that afternoon, and then they had the evening scheduled for California and maybe Arizona.
Okay.
I'm not sure if Arizona went before, but yeah, they were going to go in as scheduled. Blackout happened, and I guess they sounded like they were going to just wait it out and just like no matter how late it was, they'd go in and do the concert anyway. But it just kept going, so they went out to the streets and performed.
That's
Just
incredible. Yeah,
insane.
I mean, even other casts. So like the cast of Waitress on
Yeah.
Broadway, Rock of Ages was playing, and
Mm-hmm.
there was one other on the. I got to look here now. There was Come From Away was another musical that was. They were all, I mean, off the cuff performances. They were supposed to perform
Yeah.
in
Just so
Manhattan.
great.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like, you could sit there and cry that you didn't get in to sing, or you could go to the streets. And
yeah.
what's really cool is this choir, a lot of their mission is like just going out and singing for a bunch of people, and they wanted to get some more visibility. And, they would have sung in Carnegie, which is amazing. But instead, they have this viral video that has 4 something million views now.
Oh
So,
my
like,
gosh.
their audience has, it's pretty cool.
So they got more publicity than they would have even on tour, you think,
Right.
from the whole thing. Well,
Hmm.
that's awesome. You said you had some other musical theater news.
Yes. Yeah,
What's
I've
going
got some
on?
musical theater news. One of them I haven't even watched yet, so I've just got it queued up to watch after we're done talking. But Cynthia Erivo, who is like my favorite person I've ever seen
Yeah.
live on Broadway, like her vocals just are out of this world good. So she is going to be in. She's going to be Harriet in Harriet Tubman, the motion picture,
No way.
and I'm so excited. Like,
Wow, I can tell you. This is
yeah.
live
So I
stream
haven't
now. I
even.
can see your emotions.
Yeah. So I haven't watched the video yet, but like I just can't wait. Like I'm so excited to see this movie.
That's
It's
amazing.
coming out November 1st, so that's some good Broadway news.
Okay.
Cynthia Erivo, for those who don't know, won the Tony Award for Best Actress the same year as Hamilton, when Hamilton swept everything. So the fact that she won that is a testament to how flipping good she is. So, yeah, yeah. So she's awesome. Another musical theater news, Little Shop of Horrors, coming back to Off-Broadway with another one of my favorites, Jonathan Groff. Other people in there is going to be Jonathan Groff, Tammy Blanchard, and Christian Borle. So that's going to be Off-Broadway. If I wasn't on the other coast, I would definitely make my way out to see that.
Yeah.
And
you were.
Moulin Rouge just opened.
Oh, no way.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
and
you
they
were.
started in Boston, so that was
They
kind of cool.
originated there. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's so funny that Little Shop of Horrors is near and dear to your heart because not too far off, you were in that performance, right? Just last year.
Yeah, yeah, I was there in November. So seeing Jonathan Groff play as Seymour would be something else. It'd be so fun.
All right, THV folks, let's get a GoFundMe going for Jordan to go see this show. No,
Yeah.
that's awesome, Jordan. Well, that is super cool. The other piece of news, voice news that I wanted to talk about, allergy season. If you aren't experiencing it right now in the summer, fall allergies are going to be coming. So when the pollen changes, the leaves are falling off, you're going to get mold and mildew and all of those outdoor allergens that are going to be coming. For some, it doesn't affect them at all. For others, it is absolutely horrible. So Jordan, I wanted to see, how do you prep for either fall or spring allergies? What is kind of your routine, especially if you're singing, 3, 4, 5 times a week? How do you keep consistently healthy when it comes to allergy season?
Okay. Allergies really weren't a problem for me for a long time, which like I know all the singers are gonna hate me for saying. But it started happening just a few years ago though. So I guess you're always changing. So
Yeah.
with allergies, I guess my go-to for that, I do have like a nasal spray that I'd use, and that seems to help every once in a while.
Yeah.
But my routine is to just drink water like crazy, sleep, and wellness formula from Whole Foods.
Huh.
I'm a believer in that. I don't know how much of that is placebo, but I love it. It's wellness formula. It's just packed with vitamins and like a ton of roots and stuff that's just good for your immune system. And so, for example, my mother came and visited, and she was sick while she was here. And I started getting something a few days after she left, and she was sick for like a week. And I started taking the wellness formula right when she got here, or when I started feeling sick. It's gone in a day.
Wellness.
One day.
We will expect a check in the mail after this episode.
Yeah.
No, it's just like a one a day kind of tablet that you take.
No, they're super stinky pills that are like this big, and you take 3 of them. So
Okay. All right.
it's not for the faint of heart.
Good to know. Interesting. Well, I want to tell anybody, any singers especially, I know that a lot of singers, there's like a controversial line between whether I take over-the-counter medication. So some people like to take Flonase, or there's what is it? There's Allegra, and there's a lot of those medications that you can get over the counter to kind of dry out your nasal passages. Allergies, what happens is basically your body's response to an invasive body coming in. You get pollen or mold coming in your nose, and your body says no. You get inflamed. Your cords are going to get thick. It's not going to be a good sign. So they use these drying medications in order to open things back up so you can sing a little bit better. But the thing is that dryness is your worst enemy as a singer, and so you have to be really careful about medications that will dry you out.
Sure.
Jordan, I found a really good. I'm showing it on here now. I can see it. I went on. What is it? The U.S. Food and Drug Administration. If you go on their website, there's literally a list, a packet that you can print out of medications that might cause, dry mouth or dry vocal cords and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I'm just looking through some like aspirin, Benadryl, Allegra. So I mean, the list goes on. I'm just on the A's, but just make sure that you be careful about, when you're taking these over-the-counter drugs. You might feel amazingly fine at the end of it, but stay hydrated. Like Jordan, just like you're saying, keep drinking water. And if you want to go a more holistic route, I think the nasal spray is great. We have that saline solution that you can get at CVS, which is really nice.
Yeah,
And so there's
that's
a lot
good.
of things.
And humidifier. I
Humidifier.
forgot to mention that. I love humidifier. Yeah, especially because I'm on the West Coast now and it's more of a dry climate, especially like here in Idaho. Yeah, humidifier is great
Right.
for this kind of stuff.
Humidifier is going to let all those mucousy things come out of your nose and all that gross stuff, all that good stuff.
You can see things out of the nose.
Yeah, it's gross. Well, why don't we get into? It was just a really good idea. We spoke last week about kind of a topic that we'd like to talk about. It's pretty time appropriate. Talking about summer programs, pay to sing programs, as our main topic for today's episode. Just nuts and bolts of what they are, how they're different than young artist programs and everything like that. But we have both had experiences with pay to sing programs. And for everybody that's watching online, pay to sing programs is where an artist pays a fee in order to participate, whether that is a production or master classes, diction classes, etc. But as an exchange of your fee, you will get potentially master classes from teachers that you've wanted to study with, or you get to participate in productions that you might not have if you auditioned just alone. And so it's a good experience builder. But Jordan, as we were talking about, there is kind of a vagueness to the investment that you make. So no promises are necessarily made. They say on their website what is available and what the price includes, of course. But when you're actually there, it might be a little bit different. So yeah.
Right. And before going to this, I want to say that there are some great summer programs out there, and you'll get some really great experiences for sure to be had. So what we want to talk about is some things you might want to look out for, because there's also some not great things about some summer programs. And a lot of people that know that a lot of people want to sing and want to make a few dollars while letting them sing.
Yeah.
So just want to make sure that you have your interest in mind as you're going out to these things.
Right.
What was your exact question?
Yeah, so I would say in your experience, let's go from one of your so you've participated in a pay to sing, correct?
Yeah.
Can you just give a nuts and bolts of you don't even have to say the name of the program, but just give me a rundown of, hey, I'm looking to apply, I want to get experience, I potentially want to get a job or network with someone. Why did you get into a pay to sing, and what did you get as a result of the program?
Okay. Well, the two pay to sings that I've done, I actually did because of connections I already had to those programs. Just from a financial standpoint, it made more sense. So, for instance, I was at BYU studying with Daryl Babbage, and there was a program called UVAA in Utah, and a lot of the people that were drawn to that were BYU kids. Also, people from around the country. But because it was in Utah, and because I was familiar with some of the people in the program, and based on merit, whatever, I was able to receive quite a bit of scholarship for that program and have a great experience performing some roles. So that was awesome, and I didn't have to pay as much money for it. Right. The same thing happened in Savannah, where I did another voice festival. I think it's called the Savannah Voice Festival. And that one was the same. Daryl Babbage was one of the teachers on the team.
Hmm.
So I think that was also helpful in them looking over my application.
Good.
And so yeah, it
Avalanche.
was yeah. So I think that's an important aspect to consider as you're looking for summer programs. Is like, who do you know, and where you can get into, where you can have great experiences, but also not just completely go bankrupt.
Yeah. And the other thing is that you might not know this on the back end of things, but production oriented programs without their own grant coverage, it sounds like BYU is probably going to have some pretty good funding from BYU in general, those summer programs. If the program does not have grant coverage for the theater, to pay for the theater, to pay for the set, the costumes, they are going to be looking for a high cost from their singers. And so they need to make sure that the price is going to go up. So if you have an opportunity to figure out if the programs are covered by schools, I think you're going to have a little bit more leverage to negotiate a better price when it comes to
Sure.
scholarship, with that kind of stuff. So a program that I was in was an arm of Vanderbilt University's Blair School of Music. And so I knew that they had gotten really good funding. And so they were able to either provide good scholarship based on your audition, or you could negotiate when you go out there, hey, what type of funding, do you have available to give? And but I mean, some of these programs that don't have funding at all, you have to be careful.
Yeah. Example of that. I'm going to give an example of a bad thing that happened with the music program. One of my friends auditioned for one that said in the contract, basically, like, you're going to have a role that you'll perform with orchestra. And that was part of the contract. You're going to be, I think it was Despina and Così fan tutte, or something. So it was like, you're going to be this role. And said friend goes out to this role, and turns out that 2 or 3 other people were cast as Despina, told the same thing. And so what they did instead was they had, I think, just every other song they like took a Despina and threw him backstage and put on another one. And so like, you have to be really explicit, know what it is you're getting into, and like, that's fine. If you understand that going into the program, yeah, I'm going to be in costume, I'm going to sing a song or two instead of the whole role. That's great if you know that beforehand, and that's what you want. But if you go into expecting to do the entire role, that can be really frustrating.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
Just good to be clear on that stuff.
And the thing is about these programs is that a lot of programs do double and triple cast, and that's of the point of perspective of the program. It helps them because, say, God forbid, somebody gets sick or somebody isn't able to make the program or the flight, they have a backup. But as you need to understand that on the forefront, and Jordan, you were completely right, because productions are really a really big main goal for a lot of programs, and that's their big sell, and that's why they're attracting audience members, and people might have to pay tickets to come. And so that is the thing that is really their main selling point for them and their perspective. Now, as the singer, you have to understand, what do you want to get out of the program? Do you want to really just study with your Dr. Babbage? Do you want to study with a potential professor in the future? Do you want to network with potential voice teachers that you want to study with in the future? Okay, that is a really good reason to sign up for a program, because the production end of things, it might not necessarily matter to you. But you also want to, if you want to get diction classes or language classes, there are programs that'll help you do that. So just know on the forefront, what do you want to be doing? And when you get there, make sure that you are not taken advantage of. And for example, if production rehearsals are conflicting with your language classes or your voice lessons or something like that, because they need time for production, you have to, it's going to be kind of uncomfortable, but easier said than done. You have to, push back a little bit and say, you're the commodity. Just always remember that you are the one paying the money to get into this program, even though it is audition based. So I'm going to stop there.
That's really important, though. And I think I saw that a little bit in it, like, just with friends that have been in summer programs. They expressed that, they get cast in some roles, and then they went to study with all these great coaches and get some different feedback, and then they weren't able to get the coachings in because of the production, which is how a lot of times the company is making back the money that they need, by selling tickets to the production that you're a part of.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's a balancing act for sure.
Now, it's not all bad. I feel like we're kind of bashing a lot of them. There are really good aspects as well to the programs that
Yeah.
we're going to. So I was fortunate enough, I auditioned and went into the Schubert Institute, which was in Baden, Austria. And I have to tell you, that is a very transformative experience for me, because I personally knew that I very much like German art song. It's beautiful. I love the poetry and just everything that expresses really cool. That program specifically, I met with like giants in the field, like Robert Hall and Ellie Ameling and Julius Drake. I mean, just amazing master teachers. And they were down to a science, exact schedules, what you were getting, and they put that out on the forefront to let you know exactly what's going on. It's just an example of a highly organized and very worth your money, worth all of your time and all of your attention. So that, I mean, I just want to throw that out there as a really organized program.
Yeah, that's great. And I think what you said about knowing what you want before going out to look for programs, that's how you can ensure you're going to have a great experience. Is if you're going for networking, make sure that you're going somewhere with people that can help connect you. Yeah. So along that, I think it might be better, instead of going for a celebrity performer, for instance, if you're going for networking, that's always exciting, but that's not going to be as helpful as going somewhere where you're going to be meeting with casting agents, people that will have a direct effect on your hireability.
True. Yeah, absolutely. So boiled down to it, why are you going to this program? What do you want out of it? Why are you paying this much money for the program? So that's basically the thing. The nuts and bolts. Usually programs run from anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. They will have lessons and rehearsals, and they'll be punctuated by, talks about the industry or diction and language classes, etc. So if that's for you, that's really wonderful. Jordan and I were talking about different alternatives that also worked for us, and just something to think about with you. It's just like a food for thought. If you don't want to be paying all this money, or you don't have the finances to do it this year, go to a voice teacher that you trust and a coach that you trust. This is over the summer, and pay for those lessons. And then maybe take a class in music industry, music production, or a theater class, a combat class, dance classes, and really round yourself out as a performer, and kind of do an a la carte option that you feel you still need to work on, so that in the fall semester, when you start school again, or when you're going out for auditions, you feel that much more confident because you paid exactly for the classes that you needed yourself. So that's just an option. That's a grain of salt from me. Jordan, I don't know if you have different alternatives that you really have done in the past that have worked well for you.
Yeah, so I think that's great advice. Because if you look at a program that you were going to say spend $4,000 on, you could take a lot of that for voice lessons, and maybe talk to some different professors from a different school or something, just to get some different perspectives on your instrument. Different coaches in the area, and you'd be spending much less than that. You could budget it out. Maybe you want to pay half that. You could pay $2,000. Take a trip to where a lot of productions are going on that you're interested in. Say you're really interested in new works. You could do your own little field trip across the country to different productions that are happening, that are contemporary productions, and start to do your own research on that.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I think that's a good way to go about it, to think about it.
Right. And if you were really burning for onstage opportunity, honestly, I think your prerogative is to really apply for those pay to sings, because they will do that for ensemble experience, or if you've done these programs many times, they've seen your face. They will, be interested in having small lead roles or lead roles for you. So it does teach you things. You'll learn your craft. I mean, to be an opera singer, to be a musical theater singer, you need to sing musical theater and perform opera. You need to do those things to get that experience. So whatever, I think it's just really a two-way street. Long story short, young artists need to be specific about what you want to learn. And and who they want to meet, and then if that means less auditioning for summer programs, that's fine, and more seeking out your own education, do that. But it's also a way that these programs will learn what you want. If we start going more towards this a la carte option, maybe these summer programs are going to switch the way that they advertise to us too. So again, you are the consumer. You are going to drive the economy of what these young artist programs mean, or sorry, pay to sing. Very different from young artist programs. But yeah, so remember, you are the economic driver. You are the consumer. So that's really what I have to say about these pay to sing programs. So any last words, Jordan, that you think?
Yeah, I just have another warning. I don't want it to be like all negative, because there are amazing things that we've talked about for performance opportunities and things. But we talked about using your money differently and spending it on your own. So if your goal is to go out and see the world, like, there are a lot of summer programs. The ones that make me the most wary are the ones that are like, and there are good ones too. So always with a grain of salt. The ones that are U.S. based, that go out into somewhere in Europe to study. There's a lot of summer programs that are based in the U.S. that become a travel abroad of sorts, and you study outside. So figure out what you're paying for, because they're going to be, a lot of it's going to be like, ooh, a new place type of appeal to bring a few more dollars from your wallet. So I would recommend, if you want to see the world, go do it. Don't worry about doing a summer program while you're doing it,
Yeah.
There are great summer programs, like you mentioned, the Schubert Institute in Austria. That has a lot of great reason to be in Austria.
Yes.
So like, that's really warranted. So that's great. I think outside programs are awesome, but just be careful, especially if it's a US based group that just happened to relocate for the summer.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think that, again, name of the game is do your research. Always reach out to people that maybe have done this before. If you see on their posts the cliched, excited to announce, ... I'm in this program or whatever. If you're interested in that, reach out to them. Send them a Facebook message and say, hey, can you let me know how this program is? I'm thinking about applying next year. Your network is from peer to peer. Talk about that's, I think, going to be your best review. I know that the programs are going to want to advertise, so they're going to be a little bit biased, but talk about people who have done this before, and see what they're up to and what they're doing. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good, in a nutshell, for pay to sing programs. There are really good resources online for where to find these programs if you're interested in. The one place that I found, it's called, I'm looking at it now, thebusinessofsinging.com. And Cindy Sadler has literally just a list of resources for summer programs and pay to sings. And I'm just scrolling down it now. She has AIMS, the Amalfi Coast Music Festival, Art Song Festivals, vocal programs, opera overture, like all down here that you can look. It's like a really good resource page that you have. I'm sure that there's a lot of, on Backstage, I'm sure that they have a lot of, musical theater auditions. I don't know if summer programs are advertised in the same way for musical theater. Jordan, do you know, how did you find programs that you've done before?
There's stuff listed on the internet. There's tons of summer programs. I personally don't have any experience doing summer programs for musical theater.
Got it.
But at least the stage that I'm at, once I started doing more musical theater, it was more summer stock opportunities than pay to sing. Although that, I'm sure, exists for my age.
And summer stock,
doesn't make much sense.
Could you explain summer stock stuff?
Yeah, so summer stock is, you get paid so much to go perform a series of musicals, and you kind of just sit at the house for that summer, and your ensemble in one role or for one show, and then the next show you're a lead and whatever. That's what I've seen for a lot of summer stock opportunities.
Really cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, if anybody listening online, or when we post this video again, has any questions or reactions or personal stories, we're doing a call out for your personal experience. We want to have a good foundation of performers that have actually been in these programs before, so that they can speak
Mm-hmm.
about their experiences. We want to hear from you, because when people start looking for programs, we want to give them legitimate experiences and resources that they can speak to. So reach
Yeah,
out
we
to
can only
us.
do that if it's like a community-based effort. That's the only way we'll be able to provide that information.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and we're easily accessible. You know, reach out on Facebook, message us, or at the Holistic Voice podcast on Instagram, theholisticvoice.net. We have a contact page that you can just email us, send it in the email, theholisticvoice@gmail.com. We have a lot of avenues where you can just reach out and talk to us about your experiences. So that's all. That's all that I have, Jordan. You got anything else going on?
No, that's it. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, we will let you enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon. Let's come back and have another episode soon. What do you think? I thought this is great. I thought no horrible Wi-Fi things or anything
Yeah.
like that. It was great.
Yeah, it worked really well. I mean, it's going to be funny until I settle down in my apartment in Long Beach. Just got lucky here with good reception. But
Yeah.
so the next one might be a little finicky, but I think this is a great way to do it.
Yeah. So let's keep staying tuned into our live streams, and we'll post this and keep you updated at the Holistic Voice. If you have any interesting topics of conversation that you would like to hear about, just reach out to us, and we would be happy to speak on them. All things voice. We are the Holistic Voice, and that's a wrap for us.
All right. See you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.